Welcome everyone, to my latest episode of my podcast. I have got Leah Turner, who doesn't really need an introduction, with me today.
I do on YouTube. I'm not on YouTube, so...
Okay, so for YouTube, she needs an introduction. Leah Turner, LinkedIn trainer, is with me today. My friend and obviously the best LinkedIn trainer that there is. And I'm so pleased and grateful that she's given up some of her precious time today to be on YouTube with me. And we're going to talk all about Leah's journey on LinkedIn, because she's never done that before. Only a million times. So Leah, for anyone who doesn't know, could you just give a little brief introduction as to who you are and what you do, please?
2.5 years ago, I logged onto LinkedIn to try to grow my small business, and turns out I was quite good at LinkedIn. And when the pandemic hit, my first business was quite badly affected. So I decided to pivot, that favorite word. And I tried out LinkedIn training for someone for free, just to see if it was something that I could do. Turned out I did it quite well. And then everybody wanted to pay me for LinkedIn training. So I started taking loads and loads of bookings, and got so many that I had to put my prices up. And then again, a couple of months later, adding to the package, adding resources that I was selling as well. And 2 years on from that, business is absolutely booming. I go into corporates and do in-person training. I've sold nearly 6 figures of digital resources as well. I'm going to start working on my second digital course soon, and I've also just recently opened a membership community where I'm leveraging my visibility and sort of brand on LinkedIn to invite experts from various areas of business to my membership community, and they're hosting 2 per month. It's going unbelievably so far, so good, and we're about to open the doors for our second intake. So, and that's kind of where things are going. So yeah, it's been a wild couple of years.
It really has. And we will get on to the membership stuff, because I'm really excited to hear more about that. It seems like that is absolutely, like you say, going so well, which is brilliant. So just going back a little bit in time, I remember you on LinkedIn kind of popping up all of a sudden, or I started to see you commenting and stuff like that when you weren't using it so much. What made you decide to go onto LinkedIn? Like, there must have been something that made you think, I'll start posting on there.
I started noticing those emails, those emails that you get in, someone has been looking at your profile. And I had a LinkedIn profile like everyone, and I've had it since like when it started, but I never used it. I never logged on, never looked at it whatsoever. But then when I was in this mindset of, I really want to grow my business, because I was at the situation where I was working crazy hours, like 50, 60 hours a week with a small child. And my son was about to start school the following September. And I wanted to reduce my hours, but I needed to still earn the same amount of money. So I wanted to find more clients, then start getting some freelancers in to help me, so I could still make some money from them by them using my brand, but work less hours. So I got these emails from LinkedIn and was like, LinkedIn, never really thought about that, and like logged on, looked at what people were doing, and then went, no, this is not for me at all. I do not belong here, and logged off. And then I think I got another one, and I went, maybe, because I haven't really got any other ideas for marketing with zero budget. So that's why I kind of started having a browse around. And then I kind of saw a few people posting things that weren't necessarily what I expected on LinkedIn, like a little bit more laid back. And had a few conversations with a few people, and I went, maybe I won't use my logo for my photo anymore. Maybe I'll just be me. But I still wasn't posting interesting things. I was still trying to be like the corporate version that I thought I should be on LinkedIn. And then I basically just went, fuck it. This isn't working. I may as well have fun with it, because I wasn't going to get the traction anyway if I wasn't being myself. And I wasn't going to enjoy doing it. So I thought, oh, well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll just do what I know and see how it goes. And at least if it doesn't go well, I've had fun giving it a shot. And that's what I did. And that's when everything completely changed. And my followers started growing and growing and growing. And I realized that actually I got a good And the clients for my original business were, I think I had 70 clients in the first 2 months.
Wow.
And I had a team of 5 people working with me by that point that I'd all sourced on LinkedIn as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so it grew really fast.
Yeah. And it is just incredible to think like what you've achieved in such a short space of time. And do you think that your kind of need, because you were working so many hours and you had a young child and you were trying to fit it all in and you thought, do you know what, I need to earn more money, but I can't work any more hours. So do you think that need that you had kind of made you do more on LinkedIn? What I'm trying to say is a lot of people say like, oh, I don't really know where to start. And it's almost like if you don't have a real anything forcing you to put yourself out there, you kind of can just put it off. Like, but because you had this need to get more business and support your son and stuff, that you just went, you know what, like I'm going to do it because I don't have many other options, because you were really, really busy, but you know, there was a need there. So that need kind of pushed you out there.
So I think that made me get out of my comfort zone a little bit, but actually I was more out of my comfort zone when I was trying to be somebody else than I was just by being myself. Yeah. But I think the honest truth of it was that I had spent 8 years working alone at home. Yeah. Even before my son was born. And so when I discovered LinkedIn actually had some people that I could learn from, I was a sponge and I just wanted to be involved. I wanted to learn from all of the people. So I was bopping about in the comment sections, having a laugh with people, getting to know people, learning things along the way. And I think if we're being totally honest, it's cured my loneliness, because when you're working from home on your own for that many years as a lone parent, because there's no daddy involved here, it's just me and my little boy, and it always has been. So I'm literally getting up in the morning with a small child at home, juggling work around it, and I'm not seeing other adults the whole day. Quite often, even when I dropped into nursery, it was like drop into nursery, have a quick hello, and then I'm back in my house in the same four walls. So suddenly I was getting to network and socialize and actually have a bit of fun, have a laugh, because I used to work in offices with a group of men, and the office banter was probably what I loved most about the job. I loved having those interactions and fun. So LinkedIn for me, that was like getting that back. So rather than being in person, I was doing that online, and I've always been very comfortable socializing online because I did it as a teenager with chat rooms and stuff. When I had chronic insomnia and depression, like I'd spend my nights on chat rooms socializing with people and to avoid feeling lonely. So LinkedIn cured that for me more than anything else, I think.
Yes, it's
and
not
that
just
kept
business,
me coming back.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I started getting leads and getting money from it, I was like, oh, okay, actually having fun on LinkedIn's pretty good money, so we're going to keep going with this. And then obviously my confidence has grown and grown, and the following's grown and grown, and now I'm just like, do what I want and have fun with it and make money.
And rightly so, and you deserve all the amazing things that have happened. Like, I don't know anyone that's worked as hard as you, and you know, it's easy for people to sit back and see what they perceive as success, but don't always see kind of what's gone into it, and also what you were doing before LinkedIn even became a thing, you know. So what point did you realize that like LinkedIn had really taken off? Like, there must have been a moment where you're just like, oh, okay, this is actually a thing now. Like, this is quite big deal.
I don't really know if there was a moment. I think even now, sometimes I don't really feel like it's real. I think sometimes when the real world and LinkedIn world cross over, it hits home a little bit. I think there was a moment, like when so there was this, this is quite a vulnerable thing to talk about. So last September, so all of my family, like loads of my family, have birthdays in September. My son, my grandfather, my mum, and it's always a really expensive month. And so this time last year, it was just at the beginning of September last year, I went into the supermarket to buy all the birthday cards, right? And it was a lot of birthday cards. And I used to always check the prices of the birthday cards because I resented having to waste what little money I had on birthday cards, because it's just a piece of cardboard, right? I just phoned them. So I went into the shop and I picked a load of cards off, chucked them in the trolley and walked off, realized what I'd done and burst into tears because I was like, I used to have to check, like I wouldn't buy one that was over £1 and I'd buy the, 3 for 2 ones. I'd be like, otherwise it's going to cost me like 15 quid just for birthday cards. And I realized what I'd done and that I hadn't even given it a second thought. And it was one of those things that every year I would think, oh, I'm wasting so much money on birthday cards. And that moment made me go, actually, like things have completely changed. And I don't have to think about, and I know I know there's lots of people who do still have to think about that. And I know how lucky I am and I'm very grateful. But it's little moments like that when my old mindset goes, oh, you shouldn't really spend on that. And then the new mindset goes, well, why not? You can actually afford these things now. And it was in those moments in my life over the last year where I've gone, holy crap, like this is all because of a platform that I learned to use well. And I've helped other people to do. And now they're paying me decent money to show them how. And obviously it's a skill that's come from lots of other skills I've learned over my life, and they've just serendipitously all kind of married together and gone, you're really good at this marketing thing on social media. And I've gone, wow, cool. And people will pay quite a lot of money for it.
And rightly so. No, I love that. I love the card story. That should definitely be a post if it hasn't been already. I'm sure you've probably already posted that.
I don't think that one has been, so there you go.
No, there we go, there's a post. People are asking questions, by the way. Anyone who's got a question for Leah, please put them in the chat box, because we will get to those at the end of the podcast. But people are saying like compliments for you for being authentic, and how fast it happened, and amazing what an email like that, an email started this journey. And someone said, Steve has said, when he started working with you, realize how hard you work and you deserve everything you get, and none of this is luck. That's lovely.
I'll pay you later, Steve.
So any questions you've got for Leah, pop them in and we'll get to them at the end. So the card moment's a lovely story, and I love that. I think that when you haven't come from money, you have an appreciation for it and for things, that you maybe didn't have before. Certainly I do. I know that, again, people might see that like I have a nice car and blah, blah, blah. But then like I still have memories of like the struggles we went through as children and growing up, not having any money, single mum, there's only a mum around, and single parent family and all that kind of stuff. So, it's you have an appreciation of it, don't you? That
it's like every time I managed to buy a house, and I never in my life thought I would be able to afford to buy a home. And every single time I walk into my home, I go, I can't believe I got a house. Like, and it's this, and it hasn't stopped. I've lived in this house for 3 months now, and still every time I walk into the porch and unlock my front door and walk into the porch, and I absolutely love my porch. It's just so like homely and warm, especially when it's sunny. And I just go, I can't believe this is mine. And it literally fills me up, and I just want to cry, because I'm just like, never in my life believed it would ever happen, and now I get to walk into a beautiful home and know that I'm working hard to be able to do it up and turn it into a beautiful family home for us. And it just, like, those moments haven't ceased yet, and I don't know if they ever will.
No,
you can't spend 35 years in one mindset and then that just go away overnight. It's going to take a while to adjust.
It's funny, I should screenshot some of our texts from like a couple of years ago, or WhatsApps, like, because I remember you talking about like, oh, I'd love to be able to buy my own home, and like if I save up, and I remember you like saving all your money, and you were just sensible with your money, and you were like, if I save up, like maybe this time next year I'll be able to, or like for a couple of years if I save my money. And then I think it was something like 6 months later you were like, got enough money for a deposit, because like you just worked so hard and everyone just wanted to like throw their money at you for your LinkedIn training and stuff, which has now stopped. Am I right? You've stopped the one-to-one stuff now? Like,
I'm not offering one-to-ones. That was a hard decision, because I love doing one-to-ones, like genuinely love doing them. But they're quite creatively draining, and they take up a lot of energy, because there's 2 hours of training with somebody, and I want to learn all about them, and then I'm creating resources specifically for them, and I'm fielding questions from them and guiding them through before we have our follow-up session. So it's quite intensive. Like, I enjoy it, but I'm doing, one a week. So over the space of 8 weeks, I'm dealing with 8 people per week that all need sort of insight and support. And that's on top of my community, and that's on top of fielding inquiries for corporate training and group training. and being a mum and running a household.
Yeah, and that,
And so it was just, it's quite difficult because I'm like, oh my God, my income's going to drop and no one's going to want to work with me anymore. But I'm still offering group training and I'm still offering corporate training, and I'll probably try and set up doing webinars every 6 months or so instead.
Yes.
But the one-to-ones they've sold out now, and I'm not. I think my last one's in October, and then I won't be doing any more, which feels like,
oh my gosh.
I posted about it on LinkedIn. I was like, it's the end of it.
And it's funny.
Like it.
I remember when you started doing the one-to-ones and it was a brand new thing and you were like, oh, I'm just going to see like if anyone sort of will, if anyone wants to pay me for that, or like if I could do that I really feel like I could do it. I was like, you could definitely do it. Yeah. And now it's like you've kind of gone full circle and now you stop the training. So if anyone, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to watch this recording as well, because it's obviously will stay on YouTube. Anyone who's like, oh God, like I can't get Leah on a one-to-one anymore. So you have lots of other resources and other things. Tell people, if they want Leah's knowledge on LinkedIn, how do they get it?
So they can join the group training sessions. And so I have up to 8 people once a month, might be upping those to twice a month, but up to 8 people. And that's a 2-hour group training session with a load of resources that they get as well. They can still hire me for corporate gigs. So if they've got like a team that they want trained, I do online or in-person training for that. I've got a digital course called Making LinkedIn Simple, which is amazing, especially if you're right at the beginning of your journey, or you're kind of early on and you're just not really sure about your direction or how to really use the platform. That's like fantastic. But I think the best value anyone can get now is joining my membership community, because people have access to me whenever they need to, and I go in every single day and try to answer all the questions that people have put in. I do a LinkedIn clinic in there every month, so people, if they can't make the live session, they can add their questions in one of the Slack channels, and I will do profile reviews. I do headline overhauls. I rip apart their about sections. I make recommendations on their brand. I'll go over content that performed really well or didn't, and explain why it's not done well. So I'm giving away so much information, and people are getting what I give away in my one-to-ones in these LinkedIn clinics.
Yes.
But they're only paying like £500 a year or £50 a month. And they get 2 masterclasses from experts every month, and content ideas every month. So they're sorted on content ideas. And we've got loads of discounts as well. So loads of other professionals, loads of resources. You can get a discount on your mortgage arrangement. You can get discounts on video courses and mindset courses and all sorts of things. And I'm using my influence to leverage discounts and promotions and things like that for my clients. And I'm not taking affiliate fees on any of these. They're like, do you want an affiliate? I'm like, no, I want the discount. I want the discount for my members.
For my members,
so I'm making money on the membership fee, right?
Of course.
That's great for me, but it's a low membership fee for what they get. It's kind of crazy low. At £50 a month, like that wouldn't even get you one masterclass with one of these experts.
No,
at all.
It's an absolute no-brainer. Like, it's so much value.
But it's deliberately placed at that because I want to help people at the very beginning of their business journey.
Of course.
Not even people who've made that jump yet. If they're still an employee, £50 a month is affordable. If you're self-employed, it's tax deductible. So I could have gone premium, but I wanted to make it affordable, and I want it to be a big supportive community, not just only if they're already having that business success. Like, they're not going to need me as much. It's the people at the bottom that need more help and want to lift each other. So that was the goal for it. It wasn't about the way I can make the most money. It was about the way I can make the most impact, because that's always been what's driven me, is the more impact I can make, the more money flows to me anyway. But it's always been focused on the impact rather than the finances. And then because I love making an impact, I enjoy doing it, so I do it more, which makes more money. So I followed the joy rather than the cash.
Rather than the money. And the money will come and the people will come. And that's the thing, if you show up enough, and I have this true belief that, like, if you are nice to people and you're good at what you do, like, you will always have customers. Like, that's kind of what I've always said, like, just work hard and be nice to people. And it does work. Like, people gravitate towards you if you are giving them something. That might be entertainment, it might be education, training, anything. If you're providing something and you're nice to people, then I think it all comes back around, and it comes
people
to
are
the right
drawn
place.
to positive energy. That's what it is, essentially, because
They
it's
are.
a dark old world. So if you're bringing like positive energy into their orbit, they want to be near it.
Yeah, we don't want any neggy vibes of any
We get
kind.
enough of those.
We do get enough of those. We do, which actually leads me on to my next question. Oh, and thank you for the questions people are asking, by the way. I will get to them at the end. Make sure you pop them in the chat box. So what is the worst thing about LinkedIn for you?
I think it's very demanding on time and energy, which can be quite overwhelming when business is really busy. It can be really overwhelming trying to keep up with everything, because like I do all of my engagement myself. My content is all posted by me. All of the comments are replied to by me. I have a VA that helps me keep on top. Luke helps me keep on top of my inbox, so I don't lose leads. And he redirects podcast requests to forms and deals with things that he can deal with. But the replies are always me, and that's a huge amount to deal with on a daily basis. Thankfully, I type really fast. So that's probably the most personally like challenging. But obviously, like the negativity, I'm getting better and better at dealing with it these days. It doesn't impact me in the way that I think people would expect it to. But I do find, sometimes it's just tedious. The last couple of weeks have just been toxic as hell on LinkedIn. It's like someone moaning about selfies, and then other people moaning about selfies, and then someone posting a picture of a suicidal homeless man. Like,
I saw
honestly,
that really blew up.
You're just like, what is wrong with people? And I think I like to exist in my little bubble where everybody's a good, nice person. And I like that little bubble, because my community on LinkedIn are very much like that. And then you get someone super toxic that will take a really positive post and turn it into something negative, and you have to remind yourself that actually it doesn't matter what you do. If someone dislikes you, they will make everything that you do fit their negative narrative of you. It doesn't matter if you're raising money for charity. It's you're just doing PR for yourself. This is just you're like, I gave up an entire week of work to help raise money for a charity, but of course this is all about me and what I can get from it. Even though I lost thousands of pounds that week in work that I should have been doing and promoting. You'll always get those people, and I think you have to just turn a corner in your mind and let it go. So now when I post something that goes viral and it starts getting negativity, I just turn the notifications off and I go, I'm done now, and I don't go back to it. That's a really difficult thing that I've learned to do, but it really took me a long time to get to that point where I went, I have no need to validate my opinions. I've said what I've said, and I'm done with saying it. I'm not going to argue with idiots. So I just turn the notifications off and allow the post. People can just argue amongst themselves. I've said my piece, and it had the impact that I wanted it to, and it attracted the right people to me and repelled the idiots.
I think that's a really good way of doing it. I sort of do the same thing, or mainly always have, but not because of the negativity. I used to turn notifications off just because I can't. They do, like, I get anxious about loads of notifications. So like it's almost like group WhatsApps, like I can't handle them. So I hate literally group WhatsApp. I can't handle them. So literally I'm like, any LinkedIn posts that start to get a few notifications, like I literally turn them off of my own posts like within 5 minutes, and then I'm like, I'll go back and I'll reply to people as much as I can, but then I'm done with it. And it was funny because when I did my video for YouTube where I review some of my viral posts and the negative comments, there were so many I hadn't seen. I was like, I don't think this is good for my own mental health. I'm like checking old horrible comments.
I've definitely learned to put some serious boundaries in place for my own mental health, because like I have people, and this has happened like 4 times now. I've had people literally write suicide notes to me in my DMs talking about how they want to die, and voice messages.
I've seen that.
And like I don't know how I'm supposed to cope with that. I even posted saying, please don't send me that stuff. My own mental health can't deal with that. And Luke, this is one of the reasons I have Luke. Luke sort of shields me from it a lot of the time, but unfortunately he was poorly, and so I was dealing with myself that the last time it happened. And I was like, I don't really know how best to deal with this, because I shouldn't have to deal with this.
No.
This is not okay. Like, I want to help people, but I'm not a mental health professional. And if you're writing a suicide note to a random stranger on the internet, it's not their responsibility to save your life.
No,
that's completely unfair. Like, if they want saving, they need to contact somebody who can do something. I can't do something for somebody who I don't know and isn't anywhere close to me, or like, without putting myself at risk. And I can't put myself at risk because I've got a son. So I think those kinds of things where there's a real lack of self-awareness on the internet in general, where people don't realize how their behaviors impact others, and others who don't have any involvement in it, like the post about the homeless man, like posting something because she wanted to get engagement or whatever her reasons were. Like, well, what if his family see that? What if someone recognizes him? Like, it's not okay. But people just, they see the gain that they stand to get, and they don't think about the potential consequences. And you see it a lot with like men posting about women, and they're quite like bullying and side with their comments, and you just think, you don't actually know how that person is mentally, just because of what you're seeing. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I don't know. I find that side of it really, like, the lack of self-awareness, the pervy comments, the gross DMs, and people just going that just complete ignorance. And people begging me to support their charity and post about their charity. Yeah, cool. But I get 100 of those a day. And if I just post about charities, when I actually really need to support a charity that I'm invested in, no one's going to take any notice, and I'm going to have dropped off everybody's algorithm. But people don't think about that. They just think about their own need. And if you get 30, 40 people a week asking you to sponsor their event or post about it, I no longer have a brand. But they're not thinking about the other people. And I feel like a dick for saying no to so many people, which is why I have Luke helping me, because I'm emotionally invested in all of these things. And he goes, no, because I've got a couple of charities that I'm really invested in, that I do support heavily, and I need to reserve the posts for when they really have impact and can create big change, rather than making a random post about someone, getting them a $5 and you know, I do a big one and I get 40 grand and really change lives.
Yeah, exactly. And I've, you know, you and I talk about this from time to time, because I get it. I'm sure I don't get it on the same scale that you get it, but getting requests to post, can you like my post? Can you share my post? Like, I'm happy to pop a comment on, you know, if I can, and I've got the time, or I'm not in the middle of something, like, I'll comment, you know, can you comment for reach? Yeah. But then when they're like, can you share my post? Can you write about this? Can you do a post about that? And I'm like, no, like, you know, like, I'm trying to, you know,
we've worked hard to get to where we are
business here.
Reach, and you just feel like that it almost feels like a piss take, because they're kind of going, I want to bypass all the hard work and just jump on the hard work, the platform that you've achieved, rather than do it myself. And I know that that's not how people intend it, but that's how it can come across sometimes, is saying, I can't really be asked to put in the effort, so I'm just going to be cheeky and ask people that have already done the hard work to promote me instead. And I get people asking me quite often about like paid promotions. I don't do paid promotions. I only ever post about companies and people that I have personally worked with and have personal experience of how great they are, because it would completely discredit my brand if I was promoting people who are crap at their jobs. And just because they paid me a fee to do so. Like,
it's integrity, isn't it, at the end of the day?
And I built my entire brand on it, and I won't compromise it.
No, I don't blame you. And Joe Tuffle has said, don't forget the 9/11 toxic post. OMG, I missed the 9/11 post. What was that about?
I don't know that one.
No, we don't know that one, Joe. Let us know, because I'll have a look. But yeah, and people saying the past week was crazy one, and the last few weeks have been super toxic, so I'm having a break. That's Alistair is having a break. I don't blame you. I think often have little breaks. I quite often have little breaks from LinkedIn. Someone has also said, shoot, I feel guilty just sending a message at all.
It's okay, Jacob. It's fine.
It's fine.
Don't feel guilty about it. It's not something to feel guilty about. It's just it's when it's people wanting something all the time.
It just
and it's always an ask. It's almost always an ask. If people are like sending me a nice supportive message or something, that's lovely. That lifts me up and keeps me going. Those messages are what I turn back to and go, you know, actually this is worth doing. But when it's constantly like me, can you like my post? Can you share my post? Can you do this? Can you do that? And there's no awareness of, some of them even say, I know you probably get this all the time. You're like,
yeah. Yeah,
I've never ever once in my entire life, even right at the very beginning, sent a DM to a stranger and asking them to engage on my post to help boost it. And I'm not saying that, you know, that's terrible if people have done it, but I think
it is though.
it's just you've got to think about how often that happens. Maybe I'm just being super conscious, and like maybe they're not actually even expecting a response, they're just chancing their luck. But I do try to respond to all of the DMs that I get, apart from if you're sending me creepy messages, in which case you just get a view and a block.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, like, it's almost not so bad for people to send the message. Like, I understand, like you said, I understand why they're doing it. Like, you know, I'm trying to raise money for charity. Can you share my post? Right. And I get, do you know what? It was a punt. You've gone for it. Like, and I'm probably not going to, because of all the reasons we've said. But it's when they get livid that you don't do it. That's when I get annoyed, because I think, okay, I don't mind you kind of chancing your luck, because I might turn around and go, yeah, I'll share your charity post, and then it's great because you've earned more money. But like, when they then get annoyed and like, oh, you haven't replied, and I'm like, genuinely struggling to get back to the people that want me to coach them or want to be a smooth accounting client. Like, I'm struggling to just respond to these people that actually want my business. So the inappropriate DMs, the creepy ones, the people asking for stuff, it's like, you know, like you said, I'll go, I know
me the money or fuck off.
Yeah. Exactly. Put your money where your mouth is. Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind it, but it's when they twist it.
Yeah.
When they twist it around, and like I've had a few of them, and they'll be really manipulative. So it'll be like, oh, I know you're a big supporter of mental health, so I thought it would be in your interest to show this. And I'm like, actually, it's not, because I've got something out. And then they're like, oh, well, I thought you supported mental health. And you're like, don't you start gaslighting me. Don't you turn this around on me. I've got a lot of things to do, and your attitude just completely made sure I'll never donate to you.
Yeah.
Don't speak to me like that.
Yeah.
But if they think, maybe, I think the thing is, people often assume I'm stupid, and they probably do the same with you, and they think that if they use these manipulative tactics, that it's going to get them their own way, or it gets them as a big fuck off.
Yeah. Just the finger emoji, and that's it. I hope
you've got an R rating on this YouTube video.
Yeah, it's not for kids. It's not for kids. Yeah, Luke's like, we'll have to now. Joe said it was the one where the person posted about people who were very lucky to be delayed getting to work at the Twin Towers on the day of the 9/11, and just awful for those families who lost loved ones. Well, yeah, that's absolutely awful. And I just think like a little bit of you know, compassion and common sense would tell you not to post something like that. I don't know, just it baffles me. It genuinely baffles me. I don't think, like, every time I learn
not to expect too much from people. Yes, because if you don't expect too much, you can't be disappointed. But having said that, we're focusing on a lot of negativity, aren't we? I guess. But some of the people that I've met on LinkedIn,
because it's funny,
including you, have been people that have completely changed my life, who have encouraged me and supported me. And when I've doubted myself, you've gone, you can do this. Why are you doubting yourself? You've done this, and literally built me up. So there is people, you know, people will laud it about how well I've done, but I wouldn't have done anywhere near as well as I've done if it weren't for the people that have believed in me, supported me, offered me guidance, mentoring, shared their knowledge, encouragement, all of those things. And every single person that follows me and has ever engaged with any of my content on LinkedIn, every single person has in some way contributed to where I got to now. And so despite all the negativity, despite all those people that drive me mad, I wouldn't, the amount of positivity and incredible people that are in my life now as a result of LinkedIn is far outweighs any negativity. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't still be on it. Like, no,
it's like 90%, I would say, is like positives, you know, and that, because people go to me, oh, like, how come you sort of, you know, you've for years, you know, you've been there every day. And I'm like, because like, it's just amazing for so many things, you know. I've made friends on LinkedIn. I've grown my business via LinkedIn. I've started new businesses on LinkedIn, you know, very similar to you. And all of that is incredible. Do you know what I mean? It's like, from a platform that is free to use, only takes your time. Like, why would you not do it? you know, and the people that what one bit of advice I suppose would you give someone who is like on the fence, is like, oh, I just don't feel like I can do it and I'm not sure, and kind of wants to use LinkedIn but is holding back?
What have you got to lose?
Like, yeah,
if you don't ever do it, nothing is going to change. If you do it, maybe you won't like it after a few months, maybe it won't be for you, but if you don't try, you're never going to know. And if I didn't ever if I didn't look at that email and go, maybe LinkedIn, and actually go on and go, well, that guy's a knob, unfollow him, who's this person I don't recognize, delete him. Actually, that's quite an interesting post, I'll leave a comment on that. If I hadn't done those initial few steps, and I really very much started with commenting rather than posting,
yes,
I didn't have the confidence.
I remember.
If I'd never done that, I would not be sitting here in a house that I've purchased for me and my son as a single parent and about to go on a holiday to Bali with my son. And it's not just about material possessions. I've created security and opportunity for me and my son. Yeah. I'm not saying, oh, I bought an expensive house and going on an expensive holiday. I'm creating security, which we never had, and opportunities. And I mean, I used to have to scrimp and save to be able to afford a 2-week holiday anywhere. And now I can go, well, we're going away for 3 weeks to bond because, you know, COVID's been hard. It's been really stressful for the last few years. We're going to have some really, really quality time together. And all of the people that I've met, all of the opportunities, all of the amazing things that I've learned, all of that comes back to, I logged into LinkedIn and gave it a shot, even though I was scared, even though I felt like I didn't belong, even though I had no idea what I was doing. Like, now I help people who feel like that to get confident with it, even if it's just my digital course, even if it's just the membership group. There's a huge bunch of people in there that are encouraging one another, that do feel like that are helping each other to overcome it. And it's a lot easier to do when you've got a group of friendly people that all feel the same to encourage you. So like, I'm drawing on everything that I've been through to make a place where that people don't have to feel that way, and they are willing to give it a shot. But ultimately, nothing ever changes if nothing changes. You've got to do things that aren't necessarily comfortable right now, so that you can get comfortable with them and you can make those big changes in your life. And LinkedIn has been the #1 best investment of time of anything I've ever done.
And I don't know anyone that has committed to LinkedIn and committed their time and effort to LinkedIn that hasn't seen a benefit. No one, not a person. Like, you know,
especially like solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. I think some employees can struggle to see like financial benefit, but the connections with other people, the networking, the building professional relationships, that, like, I even found my boyfriend on LinkedIn. Don't tell anyone, because I don't want people sliding into my DMs thinking.
It's okay, we won't tell anyone that. No one's going to watch this.
You know, even my boyfriend is somebody that I met on LinkedIn, and you know, so many of the really good friendships that I have now are as a result of people who I've worked with, whether I've been their client or they've been mine. And you know, that alone makes it worth it. Aside from the financial side of things, because I love to be surrounded by people smarter than me who I can learn from and who push me and make me try harder.
And I was having that exact conversation with a coaching client yesterday. I was saying, like, I'm just like a sponge, and I look to people that are doing really well, and I'm like, what are they doing? Like, I want to learn from them. I'm very much like, teach me. So when I first started the accountancy business, it was like, my peers, I surrounded myself with people that had amazing accountancy firms, and they were just so kind and helpful. And I looked at them and like, what are they doing? And I did that. And now I've got all these coaching clients that are sort of looking to me to help them do the same. And
nice, because they put the ladder down for you, and now you're doing the same thing. And you did it for me. You gave me a leg up when I needed it, and you gave me encouragement. And like, we can talk about it now. She gave me my first year of accounting free to support me as a woman in business. She's like, I want to elevate women in business, and we did my accounts for the first year for free. And like, that was the kind of stuff that made me go, it wasn't about the money. It was about, this is a woman who really believes in my potential. She sees that I can do the thing that I want to do, but I'm a bit scared of, but she sees that I can do it. And she's putting her money where her mouth is and saying, look, you can do this, go for it. And
I was like, go limited. And you were like, oh, I think I'm going to do it in a few months' time. And I was like, just do it. Like, just do it.
But you need those people. And then it's your duty as a good human being for when you come to be in the position that you can do that, you can lift others. So I've created a membership community at an affordable price. So I can now do that on a big scale and lift loads of people up at once, because I'm like, I've got the ability to do that. And I know a lot of people have said, oh, you've done it in the right order, because a lot of people will start a membership community when they're quite like, they don't have the following that I have, whereas I've gone, well, I'm going to wait till I've got a strong enough brand that I can then really create an amazing community. And what we did, 110 members in the first day.
Incredible, absolutely incredible,
which was great. And there's so many that are really involved. And I feel like I'm actually putting that ladder down now, but obviously doing it in a way that, because it takes a lot of time, it's a big commitment from me for time wise, and obviously there will be a team that I build around it as well as it grows, but I've had to obviously charge for it. Lots of people do them for free. It's like, well, I can't do it for free because it's a huge amount of time, but I've done it as cheap as I can manage it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like I've kind of gone on that journey a little bit myself, where I am doing the one-to-one coaching, but then I started group coaching because I was like, well, that makes more sense because I can get more people in a session and I can help more people, and it's less of my time, which means I'm more available to do it. And then that's kind of evolved and I've got more and more people, and then it's like, actually this can turn into a membership thing because then I can get more accountants in, and the same amount of work, but add more and more people. So it's just like evolved over time. And it makes so much more sense because I don't really want to keep exchanging my time for money on a one-to-one basis, even though the money's brilliant. And it's the same for you, like with the one-to-one coaching, like it's fantastic money, but it's so much energy. So it's a very similar thing. So I totally get what you're saying. Like the model has to also work for you and your lifestyle. Yes, it's amazing to help people, but it's got to work for you as well. And I think this membership group is a way of you doing that. It's working for you as well as working for
and it
people.
means that I can put a team in that get everything automated as much as possible, so that then I'm more available to be actually in the community and answering the questions and getting people involved and arranging events that we can have and liaising with future masterclass people and building opportunities for them. That's where my strength is. And then also free up some time where I can be a mum and actually slow down a bit, because the last couple of years have been so intense. And that's I've felt like I've not really been doing as much. I've not been as a present a parent as I probably would like to be. So I'd like to get some time back to be able to do that, to do a bit more traveling, and also to grow another business. I've got some ideas in my head of other things that I'd like to do, but if I'm constantly stopping my time for money to keep the wolves from the door, I've got to find ways to make money that don't need me 8 hours a day, but can still help people. And then I've got more time to go, okay, well, I've got ideas for other things. And I'd quite like to do some consulting work for other businesses. People have suggested that maybe I look at being a NED for a couple of companies, cost marketing, and that's all interesting to me. Like I'm like, I quite like the idea of doing all of this kind of stuff. So we'll see where it takes me, but
sky's the limit, right?
I couldn't have imagined ever even saying that 2 years ago.
Oh, it's so good. And it's so nice to be in a position when you've built an established business that is you kind of financially supporting you, that you now have opportunities to do those things, like
to explore new things and see what I like.
And there's no real pressure, there's no the pressure we put on ourselves to be successful. But what I mean is there's no financial pressure. Like when you've already got a business that's supporting you, I feel the same. I'm like, oh, I have opportunities now to do other things because Smooth's doing its thing, and
and yet we'll always be busy because that's the kind of people that we are.
We just are, aren't we? Yeah, we're like, what else can we do?
We need a new challenge all the time.
All the time. That's the entrepreneurs in us. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say some quick fire words, and I want you to say the first thing that comes into your mind. Okay, so it's going to be quick. I haven't even written these down, so I don't even know what words I'm going to say. And then we'll answer a couple of questions that people have asked. If you've got any questions for Leah, pop them in the chat box, please. We've got a couple in there already. I'll ask them in a second. Okay, are you ready, Leah?
Oh, I'm nervous.
Zero did this to me the other day, and I was like, oh God. Like, I don't know what to say.
You didn't even warn me about this bit.
I know I didn't. Okay, right. Hang on a second. LinkedIn.
Opportunity.
DM.
Perverts.
Money.
Freedom.
YouTube.
Boring.
Rude. No, not our channel, everyone else's. Yeah. Parenting.
Hard.
Holidays.
Happiness.
And friends.
Essential.
Love it. Very good answers. I'm not impressed with those. Cool. Let's just have a look. I've got a couple of questions, so let me ask you, and then we'll round it up and let everyone know how they can get hold of you and get access to your group and all that kind of stuff. So does Leah consider, so this is from Drakenstone Media, I'm really sorry if I said that wrong. Does Leah consider her own person as a brand? You as a brand?
Yeah. I think it wasn't what I set out to achieve when I started on LinkedIn. Don't think I even really knew what a personal brand was, but yes, and that's something that I am very conscious about having to move away from. If I want to build a business that can grow beyond just me, I can't just be the brand. And this is why the Halt is not named my name. There's none of my name in there. It's that the Halt is a separate entity that will grow with me, but could also grow beyond me.
Yeah, definitely. And then also you empower people who need help surviving or changing the old world principles. Will you be able to keep on doing this when business will keep on booming?
Yeah, because I'm going to have more time.
Yeah. Which is what the group's all about.
My team will grow, my businesses will grow, but there would always be time for that because that's what I live for. Like the helping other people is that's the why behind it all.
That is the why. Absolutely.
I wouldn't get out of bed if it was I wouldn't get out of bed and do a job I don't like just so I could be rich. I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I have to love what I'm doing and the reasons that I'm doing it for me to, because I don't care about the money. It's like, it's nice and it's the security for my future and being able to enable Dex to do things. That is amazing. I love it. But I would go back in a second to my life before if I hated what I was doing.
If you hated it.
And if I wasn't getting the joy, and the joy comes from the people that I help. It sounds cheesy as hell, but that's true.
It does. She's lying. No, I'm joking. Joe said, do you believe in repositioning previous content?
Does she mean repurposing content?
I think so. I think she means that, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you've got a good piece of content, why only use it once? If you use it 4 months later, you've got new followers. It's going to be a different section of your audience that will probably see it. Repurpose it as if it was a text post, do it as a video, do it as a carousel, do it as an image, an infographic. It doesn't always have to be just the exact same. It can be the same idea, just positioned as different type of content. So absolutely, yeah.
I'm terrible at that. I literally never do it, ever.
Don't very often, but if I've written like a great article for a magazine and I'm like, that was good, like I'll turn that into a post and I'll take captions that I put on LinkedIn and add an image and put them on Instagram, for example. So I will repurpose content because I've got different audiences in different places. And I'll repurpose it for like my company page on LinkedIn as well, because it's different. It's not always the same group of people that see each post.
No, definitely. And it just makes sense. I do need to do it. I don't know why I don't do that. It's because I don't plan anything. I'm just very much in the moment.
Plan. I just on the spur of the moment. I'm trying to get better, but I'm failing.
Okay, we'll just do oh well, no, that was probably the end of the questions, but Steve said, a bit worried about the DM equals pervert one, given I made contact with both of you via this method.
I met Steve in person and I can confirm he's not a pervert.
He can confirm you are not in that category, Steve, so don't worry. Amazing. Listen, thank you so much for giving up your time today, because I know how busy you are and I am super grateful. It's been really, really fun. Tell people, so where can they get hold of your content? how do they get on a waiting list for your Halt group? And just tell it. We will put it in the description as well, but if you can just tell
so if they go to leaturner.co.uk, that's Leah without the H, leaturner.co.uk, they can find the Halt. They in the drop down on the menu, you can find the waiting list for the Halt, my shop, all of my other podcasts, media appearances, my group coaching, my corporate coach, everything is on there. And there are also links to my socials from there, but just Google me, you find it.
Google me. Literally just put Leah. Probably start typing L and Leah Turner will come up number 1 on Google. Like, you don't need the rest of it.
You put in Leah
just
Rainbow
the L is
Turner, you'll get the Daily Mail the Daily Mirror article about me changing my name.
Oh, that was so funny. I remember that saga. Amazing. Well, we will WhatsApp later, as I'm sure we usually do. But thank you again. And thanks to everyone for listening and asking your questions. It's been a pleasure. And
thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. And I'll see everyone soon. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.